welcome back to the Tech Show. This is Kathy, as already said.
What's your take on probably the decentralization way of allowing people to take security into their hands than a company being in charge of their security?
Actually, my way is not in any disagreement with it because I love saying that we are humans and everything can happen. I support this because if I come, actually the first time I entered this university, my question was, why are they restricted?
There are those anomalies in cybersecurity threats that normally happens, which basically how we should analyze our data, especially when it comes to... Welcome to our YouTube channel. This is Tech Talk with Jeff Joe. Today we're going to quickly look at cybersecurity, and it's one of the growing fields that has gained a lot of traction, especially on the fundings that are coming up with the cybersecurity clinic. And in this digital age, I have invited Kathy with me. From today on, we'll be referring to Kathy, and that's the name she's going to be using on the social media.
Yes.
For our Tech Talk. And we're just going to have a quick talk on cybersecurity and the presence of being online ever since the pandemic that happened in 2020 in Africa. This discussion is basically for all the African community. We realize there has been so many evolving landscapes of cybersecurity, which has been facing a lot of challenges, especially in these areas of cybersecurity. And one of the landscape of cybersecurity that we talk about are the threats, which comes right from cyber attack, malware, ransomware, and these are the things that have really been compromising our security. But to begin with our quick discussion, allow me to introduce my guest. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, good evening everyone. Welcome back to the Tech Show. This is Kathy, as already said, and we are really going to take you through the cybersecurity, which is the most common problem with using digital devices, being on media, as per now in Uganda. The different devices, whether which type, you must be evidencing cybersecurity, and yeah, it has to be really put in practical by making proper awareness to everyone. Yes.
Thank you. You've heard from Kathy. So we're going to have a quick talk on cybersecurity. But basically, let's first start with the common threats that are there, especially related to malware. And malware, basically, we refer them as computer programs that are designed probably to create havoc or danger to or cause malfunction to our computer programs. One of the things that has been in the tech talk industry is the ransomware, which has actually compromised the operation of computers, and people use it to gain access or gain unauthorized access to people's privacy and data. What's your take on these worms, trojans that are being created, especially if you have ever experienced them?
Yes, beginning rapidly from the mall somewhere. Actually, these things happen daily, but we don't know. Like, if you don't know what it is, you will not know that my device is having a malware and it is affecting me. Take an example. What is happening most recently in Uganda, people use links to spread this malware onto your devices. You may ask, how does the malware reach my device if it's on your device? But they have used the link and they will trigger you to tap on that link, and once you tap on that link, it just replicates all over your device and it's going everywhere, accessing your data, and that is losing integrity of your data. So it's not really a good act, and we cannot prevent it if you don't know it. That's why I'm saying awareness, because most of us access these links. A link comes in your inbox and you just tap on it. You don't know what it is, you don't know, because it's only a person who knows that it can be spread via links, that can be like, oh, should I tap on this link or It might be containing some malware, but that person who doesn't know, and the majority of the people don't know, so meaning the majority of the people are having that malware on their devices and it is accessing their data, and that is losing the data integrity that we should ensure.
Thank you, Kathy. Uh, the issue of malware, as it's not something which is new. It has been existing in the industry. People do it for business. It's a business thing that if you visit websites like the the dark web, uh, that's where most they trade of credit card information, because basically it's all about stealing or gaining unauthorized access to your data. But the malware comes in form of the links which are not from trustworthy sites. That's why in most cases, if you're dealing with any email, you need to first look at that link if it is HTTP secured. If there is that S which stands for secure, those are the sites that you should gain access to or use your credit card information. Otherwise, your credit card will be uh, on those protocols. We have one of the gentlemen also here in Makerere who discusses more on security issues, and that is Arthur. But he has been educating, especially the community around Makerere on cyber security tech. But one of the things that compromises, let's just get back to the simple basics, the use of the storage devices like flash drives, uh, and then and then the use of memory cards that people use in those computers that they don't trust, especially if you're working with Windows operating system. It becomes easier for the virus to gain access to your personal data, and that compromises a lot. Remember, you sometimes you keep your credit card information on your computer. And that has been a big issue in this industry, in this tech talk. So there are a lot of questions about this talk on cybersecurity that disrupt the operation of computer. But I want to get back to ransomware. Ransomware is people steal your data, render you inactive to the data, and make you pay ransom amount of money to gain access to your what, to your data. So that's why we had to come in and start talking about some of this tech talk, especially when it comes to what, to this malware that are being created every now and then. And one of the things, when we look at the greatest gentleman in the tech talk industry of cybersecurity, and that is Bruce Naira, he has mentioned a lot that security begins with you. And if you're not having control of your data, you make people compromise your data. And in so many ways, they have tricked so many people to selling their password details, credit card details. Now, and this has always been kind of a phishing attack onto our personal data. So back to Kathy, I just want you, if you have ever experienced a situation where your data, like on credit card, if you have tried buying something online, in Uganda we have Jumia, whether you feel like you're selling your data too much to the intruders or to the bad guys who may gain access to your data, or even via your email, the links that you talked about, fake website which are not secure. Have you ever experienced or had that feeling of insecurity when it comes to phishing attacks?
Yes, I actually want to give an example that here in Uganda, people are very aware of what is taking place on your device. You'll be shopping something online, and someone already there knows you're going to make a transaction online. On the malware, I want to inform you that if you're performing a transaction online, you realize people are even aware that you're taking a transaction online, and they are able to trigger you to spread some information that you should have not spread. Take an example. I'm ordering for something on Grove, and I'm paying not in cash. I'm using maybe my ATM card or anything. So once I make that option, someone there is already knowing she's going to do a transaction online, and before you even finish the transaction, they send you like a link, and they'll tap the link, and if you tap the link, it comes like in a way that is the way to pay. So when you tap the link, before you realize everything is off your account, and it's just a shock. You don't know how it has happened. You only tapped the link to finish the transaction, yet you tapped a wrong link. So that's how the experience here is.
Um, One thing that we also need to discuss more, because people these days, by the way, I have seen a lot of ladies, they like buying food online from CJs, uh, and then Jumia, gloves. You mentioned gloves, but all this still goes back to the aspect of where is our data being accessed from. That's why, who is responsible? You know, when we do investigation on those phishing attacks, especially via emails, these links that are normally sent to us and in most cases compromises our security. We need to focus so much now on how are these phishing attack affecting us when it comes to our credit card information. You see, you know, they say when you lose money, you lose something. But when you lose your integrity, you lose everything. So because money you can get it back, but you cannot gain back your integrity. So those people who have engineered themselves into the dark web, the pager, to steal or buy people's credit card information, to extort money for their own financial gains, can also be liable for criminal cases, especially on uh, online fraud. Because it's a common thing. I've just taken this discussion quite into the technical part of it. But look at telecom companies. You find someone spoofing on your phone, calling you with a fake number, pretending uh, pretending to be camouflaging to be a telecom company, purporting that you have won money from the telecom company, and hence gaining access to your probably credit card or very key sensitive things like your password, maybe send your password, I reset. And remember, with the OTP, which is the one-time password authentication, they know that you are always in control of your phone. So that authentication password key is normally sent directly to your phone so that you authenticate. When they gain access to your mobile phones, they can gain access to your bank account, because they would be in charge of receiving the SMS and then authenticating your transaction. And of course, this phishing attacks is actually causing a lot of security attack. So this is still on a good note, but let's look at the worst scenario, the one which we call it the DOS, which is the denial of service attack. In most cases, you have a website where you have uploaded your data. Tomorrow you will wake up, you are unable to access your data. And all these are because of illegitimate users going online to try to sabotage you. Have you ever heard of situation where people complain, my account is I can't gain access into my account? Have you ever experienced people talking about this in the digital era, in the digital age of cybersecurity?
Yes, very true. I've ever experienced this, people talking about it. I myself experiencing this. Giving an example, in the last week, I was called over 10 times by a number I don't know, and they were triggering me to tell they are from the company that is in charge of communications, and they're soon going to cut off my line, so no more communications. So they're triggering me, I'm not going to access information, so they're triggering me to go and verify, but they are not the verified people who should be accessing me. So what do I want to tell the people is that everything, yes, you talked about, should we say these people have majorized in crowd in doing the bad end? Should they be taken as criminals? People are doing their survival, and people have taken efforts to study more of how they can live. So I also just want to tell everyone there that also study the way you can live, because yes, when they hack you and lose your money, you lose your data integrity, and that means your money has gone today, tomorrow it will be gone, even after a year it can be gone, because they gained access to your data. So losing the money may not be the big deal, but losing your data integrity, because losing your data integrity means that they have access to your data, and even tomorrow they can use the same power to do the same act that they did to you. So I actually advise people to have maybe two emails, or the one that is used maybe for their lines and everything, commercial things, things that are very sensitive. Then another email for temporarily you're logging into a certain website and they're like, they have to access your cookie, they have to access, you use the other email, not the email that is carrying sensitive information. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's a very good point, which I believe our viewers should take it as a key because if you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing to this channel because this is the channel where you learn more about the tech space in this digital age. Okay, we now going to move our discussion, especially when it comes to friends, insiders. You know, one of the biggest compromises to security, people who purport to steal money from you. Sometimes they say the people are always within, and it's no, it's normally a common saying within organizations that run businesses online. They say that recently, I think I remember when I just left campus, I gained access to. I don't want to mention the bank, the financial institution, because the it would trigger out a bad image to the public. But I remember the when mobile smartphones really was approaching in 2014, 2015, the era of smartphone, people used to have open uh, Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi, and they were using their banking password credentials to log into a company network, and hence compromising security and leaking out this sensitive data, because all these data can be kept within the cookies if it is browser access, and making the system prone to security vulnerability. Because if someone gains an access to the IP address of your system, literally he has gained access to all your data because he can intercept the data when it's still in transit. And that's one of the biggest threats that comes from the insider. I don't know whether you have ever really engaged yourself or you have ever experienced this when you have seen like people gaining access to people's information just because an insider is the one who has you've given your password to someone, and probably someone used it wrongly or unknowingly, and you end up losing your money or your sensitive information is being leaked. I don't want to go into the other aspect, but you hear there's a lot of these. I don't want to mention them in a different way, but you find people's private recorded videos which are not meant for the public are being circulated over the media. What comes into mind? Don't you think someone has gained access into? You've seen a lot of things happening on the internet. What's your
Yes.
take on the insider threats?
Yes, actually, I want to tell everyone that take social media as social media. Anything can happen. What do I mean? Social media as social media. If you've decided, if you're having your private information, then there is no reason why your private information should be shared outside. Giving an example, if I have a passcode to my phone, then it is a passcode to my phone, not even to my sister. There is an advert that is going around by some service provider, and it tells people that not even your pin should be shared to your partner, like your love partner. It's not necessary. It is your pin to maybe your account number. It is yours, not to be shared. So take anything on social media as social media. There is no trust on social media. It has to be you to hold trust on your data, because if you decide to have trust with someone on your information, then it will lose integrity very soon and very easily, because social media is social media. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. You mentioned so much about personal security and avoiding using third parties when it comes to your personal data. And we know in most cases we look at the hardwares, the mobiles, the smartphones, the PCs, the personal computers that we have. One of the things that you should always try to do, we're now getting into the aspect of advising organization on what they should do to mitigate some of these cybersecurity threats. So the best way to have their own defense as an organization in order to avoid uh, exposing their or allowing their data to be leaked is through allowing first of all, I want us to look at the aspect of conducting risk assessment. We will try to talk about them, how organization can best have security in their company. We'll first talk about risk assessment. Of course, when we talk about risk assessment, is in most cases in a country like Uganda, maybe in Africa, they only provide security when an attack has been committed, and that's the bad thing. And of course, because cyber security is kind of an invisible service, when someone say maybe we need to put uh, a firewall, and someone would not know what a firewall is. But of course, that layer of security that helps to protect your data. Of course, they introduced the 2FA, the two-factor authentications for protecting the data. So one of the things that I find it a priority for organizations to really try to is to allocate some money or funds or resources, especially to reduce on the risk. What's your advice to organizations that still are there? They're small. They haven't experienced cyber attack. What's your take on risk assessment to organization? What advice can you give organization on that?
So personally, the advice I can give to organization first is I want to put in account that there are those organizations that have not experienced such issues of cybersecurity, so they are still inactive or to take on a move. But on however cost, whether you've experienced this or not, you have to ensure that in security, you have to ensure the security of your, let me say, the computer systems of your everything that you're using in the organization. Whether you've experienced the cybersecurity or not, take the personal initiative to protect everything. To protect everything. Then, after taking that insecurity of everything in your organization, ensure the network security. Network security, taking the insecurity that is for everyone. Whether you know about cybersecurity or not, you should be taking full concern of everything. Then, on the network security, endeavor to put in some costs to think those who have ideas on what to do and follow the guidelines, like follow the procedures. If they have said you have to put a, let me say, a firewall, put in some costs, educate your organization what they are all about, what you're going to implement. Don't be reluctant to eat the money when you're not going to actually eat that money, but instead invest it in protecting your data. Data integrity is very good and it's very essential. So it's not all about organization, it's not all about making the money, but it's all about making the money, accessing the money with all full control without losing any information that is about your organization. So ensure the insecurity, then you can go in the network security, which will involve some costs, obviously. That's what I could say.
Yeah, thank you, Kati. I noticed you mentioned a lot about multi-layer security, because when you talk about network security, endpoint protections, access controls, all these are multi-layer security levels that are there. And one of the things is people should learn to encrypt their data, because encryption could be one of the best way to create another layer on top of a layer to provide security. These are just add-on securities to help provide defense to organization to prevent some of those attacks. My voice is kind of changing, but I've been talking almost the whole day, but bear with me as the voice keeps changing. Um, we'll still try to continue and finish up this discussion. Then another thing that I've also realized is whenever organizations are employing people, they don't take training as, they look at it as maybe wasting money and probably creating awareness. Do you have a feeling that people really train or people really create awareness? Just like we are here, we are trying to create awareness about cybersecurity.
Yes, I have the feeling that very many people take training as a guarantee. Okay, if I'm working in an organization and they say we are going for a 1 week of a workshop, creating some awareness about some issues. To a normal person, to the common person like us, to the normal thinking of everything. It's just a 1 week of spending outside work. They are not taking the training as a serious note, but on a point, it is necessary. It is very necessary because you will not jump from anywhere and get to know about something when you have not educated yourself about it. Awareness is very crucial. It's very necessary, like very needed, though we tend to take it like for granted. It's a normal thing. People have gone out for a workshop. It's just a workshop. People are not taking the initiative of that awareness. But I would advise all those workers in the different organizations that take sessions for awareness. Very important and very important. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot about awareness, the trainings that people go through. I just want to trigger out our minds. Do you know still even up to date people still put these basic passwords like 123 by birthday. You get things that people can guess and figure out, and really they don't take them seriously. What advice do you give such people?
Actually, my brother is a fault of this.
Mm,
When he was buying me a PC,
mm,
he set the password of my PC to 12345.
mm.
So when he sent it, I asked him what is the password, and he told me 12345, and I was like, okay, this is the heck of everything. How can that be a password to
Mm,
something that is going to store my data? Okay, there is this saying that don't okay, I advise people not to set their passwords like
mm,
their birth dates, a password that is your mother's birth date.
mm,
I'm very sure very many people know this is the birth date of this person. So if I access your device, I'll first trigger in the very normal things that we talk about, your birth date, what you like around. So make sure your passwords are strong passwords, not around the normal living of a person, what you go singing around everywhere. No, those are not supposed to be the passwords you set to your devices.
Now you made me now to smile because when you mentioned your password was 123, it's just like trying out those random numbers and you figure out those passwords. But one of the things is, how do you feel a normal strong password should really look like? Because many people talk about alphanumeric characters, and that should also contain symbol, upper cases, lower cases. What's your take on a normal strong password? Because you see, passwords have been changing. You've realized that even some websites they use. I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it, but they use images to try to authenticate if it is not a computer driven thing. If you're not a robot trying to access the put image, then they ask you to rotate them. I've just skipped the name a bit, but it's one common thing that if you're trying to authenticate, well, how should a normal strong password probably look like?
Okay, to my understanding, a normal strong password should not be one best, let me say one data type best. If it shouldn't be numerical
Mm,
throughout, then it shouldn't be a string throughout. It should be a mixture of various things. So I support the having a password in different data types. So let me say it's a one, it's a capital T, like mixed up. So as it can be it can create some hard time for a person to guess you pressed a numerical here, then you pressed a character here. And I would actually advise people to move away from these common characters of art and hashtag, because to my realizing, I've seen most passwords have an hash in it,
mm,
uh, an art in it, so it's becoming common. There are different characters on the keyboard to press to use. Why wouldn't we use the rare case?
mm.
And you can remember it because that is what is accessing and you're using it daily. So it should be a mixture. I support the mixture and not a mixture of common characters. Yeah.
Just in case you don't know, my guest here is a is a tech student, so she's an engineer, and she's a software engineer, and she's quite conversant with some of these discussions. And now we're going to look at one of the most biggest things that most companies don't do: the DCP, disaster recovery, DRP, disaster recovery plan. So the incident response plan that is there. You know, sometimes you can wake up and you find the system has gone and all your data is there. I think so, and you don't know where the data has gone. So to me, I feel like some of these incidents always happens, but there's a way. There's need for mitigation, and then probably to understand how to overcome some of this when cybersecurity hits. Because when cybersecurity hits, if you truly rely on your data and you have not done backup, you go actually you would have turned the organization upside down. Of course, technology is good, but it's also good as people who have created it. Sometimes this technology can be as good as devils because they can put you into hostage of your data. But of course, those can happen. But I don't know what proper advice could you give organizations, because we are now trying to advise organizations globally what they should really do, especially when it comes to some of those recovery plans, incident response plans.
So most people like us, the human being, we tend to learn the hard way. Like we tend to learn if I've not lost the data, then it doesn't make sense for me to back up. Okay, if I have photos in my gallery, like I see them, it has not happened to me. I don't see the reason why I should do a backup. But I would advise strong people there who are holding information of different organizations to always do a backup of every single data. Even if it's a full stop on a certain sentence, please back it up to the end. Every important information should be having a recovery point. Even on the normal device things, if you're using, let me say, WhatsApp, and you're not having a backup for your data. Trust me, one day you wake up and your WhatsApp has crashed and you can't even access anything. Actually, giving an example of contacts, if you're saving contacts and you're just saving them on a SIM card, the day you wake up and your SIM card is no more and you didn't back up your data on the email, that's when you realize that I needed to back up, because you can enter that email on a different device and access those contacts. But if you really didn't, that's when you had the hard way to do the backup. So ensure backing up everything, make a recovery point for everything.
Thank you. I'm enjoying the discussion with you. And I think today and please, my viewers might be interested in seeing you often, so I hope you'll be providing time to come to this to this tech talk show. That it's going to be running throughout our entire life, but this is one way for us to probably let people also gain from us with the experience that we go through. Now, the thing that I'm going to just mention, and it's going to be my okay, my second last part of the talk, is all about updates, and these updates that comes onto our computer, patches, that security patches that comes in. Many times most people do not update their computer, their phones, because they see it's going to take some amount of data. But it's always important to keep your devices updated, up to date with the latest security to help protect your data from being accessed. Otherwise, if you have confidential information that should not be accessed, people can gain access to them. So you need to do some security patching, regularly update your devices. If there's an update, please try to run those updates and make sure that your devices stay up to date. Now, we now want to twist our mind from that area of how organization can mitigate uh, some of this cybersecurity risk to the talk of 2023. It has been all about AI, ML, AI,
Very true.
And we've looked at this with the Google Talk. the Google I/O talk of 2023. We have looked at the WWDC, the Worldwide Developers Conference of Apple. We have seen this with the Microsoft Tech Talk. Microsoft has actually just released okay, it has been there with the Copilot, but they have just incorporated a new chatbot, the Bing chatbot. We're not going to talk about chatbot. If you have not watched our previous video on the AI and ML tech talk on the emerging technologies, please check them out. Uh, you should watch those previous videos. We're now going to switch our mind into how these AIs and ML can help protect our data. What's your take on some of this AI? Okay, when I say AI, I'm referring to artificial intelligence, and when I'm saying ML, I'm referring to machine learning. And how do you think this advancement in in a computer-driven uh, perspective can help protect our data from being accessed? What's your take on that, especially on AI and ML?
Yes, my take on the AI and email is very positive. On a reason, uh, most of you have phones and you can use the, let me say, the face detection, the fingerprints. Actually, most people right now want those sensors that you put your arm and it can sense your finger and say this is the right person. So it's the right way to go because at least it is like let me say a two-step verification of it's rare for a person to really have the same fingerprint like yours. It's really very rare. So we should actually take in the AI and the ML. It's very good and it's very easy to use as long as you incorporate yourself into it because it just doesn't jump in and you can use it. No, it takes some good or some time and you get used to it. It's a very good act. Actually, I support it very much and I would wish I can be that very good in AI.
Okay, you will be very good since this is still a new field. It's not new. AI has been there for long, but it's now taking shape in 2023. And I believe that we're waiting in September. Apple is about to release iPhone 15. I think we will get time and have more tech talk on those fascinating devices. But there are those anomalies in cybersecurity threats that normally happens, which basically how we should analyze our data, especially when it comes to the artificial intelligence bit of it. The use of the fingerprints, face ID for facial recognitions. These are good things that really comes in. The cameras in place at home, they actually help provide security. When we talk about security, we do not only look at the aspects of the mobile phone, the PCs, even in our homes. Look at you have a maid at home and you have a phone. You can have full control of your home uh, on your mobile devices because of some of these upcoming securities. And by the way, even if there are dangers, there are those hotspots that can create alerts to let you know what is really taking place. Um, but one thing I know about AI and ML is that when you use them, you will start getting those alerts, even if you're traveling. Uh, you know, in Uganda, we still don't have that security issue a lot, but in the US, it's too much. And that's why even these air tags that are being developed by Apple, people are using it actually to compromise on people's security. And nowadays, there are sensors that detects if there's an air sensor near you, then it can detect, and then probably if you don't have it, you can try to put those air tags off. But this all help in protecting our data in real time. That's the good thing with AI. The data will be protected in real time, and if if there's a breach taking place, it is easier for an AI tool to alert you in any form that there's an attack going on. So that's one area that people should focus on. We almost ending our discussion. We just want to take a look at one more aspect of blockchain technology. There's a company that actually came to Uganda and they want to promote blockchain technology. But basically, to just throw more lights on blockchain technology is that it deals with these platforms of data sharing. It's a revolutionary way of identification management. Like you share your data in terms of a chain and try to decentralize authentications. Maybe one person can authenticate all those devices. It tends to happen a lot with maybe like gate analysis. If you, of course, in Uganda here, we could not talk much more about gate analysis, but let's look at our university, Makerere University. They are introducing something at our gate, and of course may not be more of blockchain technology, but you would have a card that gives you access for the gate to open for you to drive your car in. And it's something that kind of decentralizing. That means they are trying to bring back the security to you. So it's kind of a blockchain way of interacting with your own card to gain access to maybe a premises. Now, I don't know whether you've seen these new developments around Makerere. At Western Gate, Eastern Gate, I've seen they have now installed new gate system. Instead of employing someone, you know, human beings can easily be compromised, especially with money. So, what's your take on probably the decentralization way of allowing people to take security into their hands than a company being in charge of the security?
Actually, my way is not in any disagreement with it because I love saying that we are humans and everything can happen. I support this because if I come, actually, the first time I entered this university, my question was, why are they restricting the entry into the university? Like, the car has to first verify who is it supposed to, where is it going to parking, the parking fee, and everything. So bringing back the response to you, like you're responsible of everything. You come, you verify everything by yourself because employing these human beings at the gates, you can come and give in your little and you go in. But when you're following a system, trust me, this system will vomit your card if it's not
Mm,
meant to go.
yeah.
So it's a very good idea to take in, and I have no problem with it.
Yeah, just to let you know that we're almost finishing our discussion. I think the last talk is going to be on the biometrics and then advancement into authentications. But before I touch that area, I just want to quickly summarize something on IoTs, which is a common talk on internet security, the IoT security. In most cases, with these connected devices, the rapid increase of these many devices being connected and they are accessing services in this ecosystem. There's a lot of uh, protocols that are being violated. I think when you discover that within Makerere there are some devices which are not connecting to the Mac Air, to the public Wi-Fi, because of the different device authentications of different upgrades that has been going on. But some of these powered devices which are on the network is because of security. There are some devices that becomes more vulnerable to security. That's why you see, basing on the Android version or the iOS versions, there are some companies which allow certain devices to only connect if they are quite familiar with some of those devices to get access to their internet, to their network. Now, to summarize these emerging technologies into the field of cybersecurity, we just want to have a drop of talk on biometric security, which basically takes the human features which are very difficult to mimic them in this field of look at the fingerprints, the facial recognition, and some of these other, even the traditional authentication methods that are still there, like password. So, to mitigate some of this security with the advancement or emerging technologies, I think it is also the right time for, you've already mentioned it, that it's the right time people should embrace locking their devices with fingerprint. But it's very funny that people can still also what? Purport and then also what? It happens a lot with couples when you lock your device and when you are asleep, still someone can unlock your device, and you find there's got a lot of many relationships have gone south because of some of those security threats that are there. But it's also one good layer of authentication that can also be added onto authentication processes. But what's your feel on facial recognition or facial unlock and fingerprints, especially in biometrics?
My look on actual facial detection.
You can relate
I
it to any field.
I once watched a movie. Okay, I watched my movie and they would the it was a like crisis form of, so the person died and there was no way they could access the people where the person hails from. So they only realized that his phone had face detection encryption. So they would just bring the phone and they were able to access the phone information. So there is nothing that is good without a disadvantage. We have to really know that. You can't be 100% perfect, and neither can something be 100% correct without any disadvantage. But on the other side, we have to take what is overweighing, either the advantage or the disadvantage. I heard you talk about the marriage couples and everything. Yes, I was imagining if I'm using a fingerprint and I'm sleeping, if I have a husband, say, he can easily get my thumb and put it and everything opens. But this is not the only way you can encrypt your data. Like the way we said, you have a backup, so you can also have a backup of protecting your data. If my fingerprint is opening my phone, then there can be a passcode that is opening some app. Let me say it's easier way when you do very many things to, because this is your data, this is your integrity. At the end, it is either going to frustrate you or give you a positive move. So let's not minimize on taking in one side. Let's be open to that change. If it can't restrict you from using only the face or the finger, the thumb, but you can also put in the passcode. Like, let's embrace the variety. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Kathy, for accepting my invitation to be on this Tech Talk with Jeff Joe. I'm your host, and we will be having another episode 2 of Cybersecurity Talk. But one thing that I need to advise you and other viewers is that please take your cybersecurity seriously. Otherwise, you may end up losing your crucial data completely from the internet. And please also stay updated with the tech talk shows that are always upcoming, so that you keep abreast with these emerging technologies that are coming up in this digital AI era. And one of the things that I also want to encourage you is that please, it is important also to comment, share your thoughts. Let us know what you think about cybersecurity in the comment section, so that we could, or you could advise us on what other topics we could discuss next. Because with me, I have a team of many, many talented individuals. Kat is one of them, and she's an amazing person who knows more about tech talk. And let's try to embrace this, because if you don't embrace technology, then you will be obsolete. Please tell them to subscribe,
Subscribe,
like,
like,
turn on the notification.
and don't miss out the tech shows. Let's be positive on creating self-awareness. That's it.
Thank you. Catch you on the next episode. See you tomorrow.
See you.
That is our tech talk for today.
Welcome back to the Tech Show. This is Kathy, as already said.
What's your take on probably the decentralization way of allowing people to take security into their hands than a company being in charge of their security?
Actually, my way, there's not in any disagreement with it, because I love saying that we are humans and everything can happen. I support this because if I come, actually the first time I entered this university, my question was, why are they risky?
There are those anomalies in cybersecurity threats that normally happens, which basically how we should analyze our data, especially when it comes to the artificial intelligence bit of it. But what's your feel on facial recognition or facial unlock and fingerprints, especially in biometrics?
My look on active.